Greetings, greetings, family. You are loved and appreciated. Well, it is in the moment live. I said I'm going to be consistent and I mean it. But this is a little new thing that I'm doing, and it's called In the Moment Live. And so, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm unpacking the last guests that I've had on my show, just sharing some takeaways of what I took away from the podcast. And I would love to hear if you have any takeaways as well when you get time to listen to it. Even if it's not live, I want you to put in your takeaways of what you got from the particular podcast that aired this particular week. Now, I have started doing it a little bit differently on Fridays. I'm testing out doing my podcast on Friday and then jumping on and doing a quick little chat about what we talked about. Now, I know that many people probably have not even had time to look, especially us busy folks during the week. But anyway, I'm going to still drop a few nuggets here so that you can go back and check it out whenever you get time. But anyway, I interviewed Dr. Tim Green, and it was really a treat to interview her. I met her, I believe it was last year, and she received the award for one of the best businesses or something like that, equity award. And I thought she was really awesome when I had a conversation with her. So I was really glad to reconnect with her. But some of the little things that she unpacked in there was extremely powerful. I love how people get a passion and then they run with passion. And really, her story shows how, even from a young age, she began to chase after her dream literally early. I believe she was 24, 25 when she started her business, which is really impressive. And she's been doing it ever since then. So I think one of the wonderful takeaways that you can look at is when you tap into something that drives you, like something that gives you meaning and feels like you're called to it, then you have the longevity and the persistence and the perseverance to make it through the whatever challenges that you're going to face. So I thought it was really interesting. What was also interesting is how much of influence her mom has been in her life. Her family has been in her life, her mom and dad. But she mentioned about her mom in particular, and I love one of the things she said was you should never be dependent on another person for a paycheck. Now, instilling that into such a young mind is pretty profound because that means that you will not stay stuck where you don't belong or where the relationship is not great. You will have the boldness and the courage to make your way prosperous. Like she was talking about how she learned how to corn roll. So, really, even at an early age, she was learning entrepreneurship, which is so important. And one of the other things she talked about, she wanted to have that business so that she can have more autonomy and flexibility. So when she was pregnant with child, she knew that she couldn't have the flexibility like she needed it. And so I think that's really powerful because she did not allow her circumstances to define who she was or how far she can go. And so that's, I mean, just a powerful principle. I really thought about um, there was I think it was Denzel Washington, and one time I saw something, and he said something like, sometimes you have to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So when you really listen at do what you have to do until you do what you want to do. So sometimes you may have to roll up your sleeves and fight life through and do the job and do the extra work and burn the midnight hour. I mean, the midnight oil or whatever it is that you have to do. You have to do that at times until that you can get to the place where you can do what you want to do. So it's not wasted time unless you stop. It's not wasted time unless you don't keep pursuing your dream. And so she mentioned about there's ways to set yourself up for success because I was pretty impressed at 24 that she decided to just launch her business and just jump out there at that young age. So that's pretty profound. Man, I don't know if I would have had the courage, honestly, you guys. was, mindset is everything. And if you've been taught to just get a job and, go on the same trajectory, you usually don't stop and allow yourself to be interrupted so that you can take some risks. So anyway, really applaud her for that. And of course, the driving force that moves you forward, your why. Why do you do what you do? Are you doing what you do because there's a conviction on the inside of you that is driving you to do it? It's just like when I do my podcast and I speak and I inspire and things like that. I do that not because I necessarily want to do it. I do it because I love doing it, and I know that that's where my impact is. And so you start finding out your superpower, and then you begin to start walking in that. So why are you doing what you're doing even right now? If you paused and asked yourself a question, first of all, are you happy with where you are right now? Are you fulfilled in what you're doing right now? Or are you kind of like, oh my God, this is drudgery? You really have to start asking yourself those kind of questions, because I don't know about you, but we don't have another 50 years to try to figure this thing out. Well, many of us don't. So I committed myself to be in a quest of really my assignment for my life. And so that's why I'm constantly leaning in and moving in toward those different things that bring me joy, those things that make impact, those things that touch people's lives. So very important for you to take the time to answer those questions. So, really take an assessment. Look at your current situation. Look at your current condition. Look around you. Who's the people that are in your life? What's the work that you're doing? Are you really happy with your circumstances, with your life right now? And if you're not, then guess what? You're the captain of your own ship, so you can do something about that. She talked about barriers, and I always like to ask the question barriers, because there's nothing significant in your life that will happen without you having challenges and without you having barriers. The Word of God says that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but it also says that God delivers us out of them all. So we know that in life we are going to have challenges. In life, things are not going to go the way that we want them to go. In life, we will always have things that get in our way. But your reaction or your response to life is really what's going to drive you to your destiny. So barriers are going to come. She mentioned, Dr. Green mentioned about when people think they know what's best for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, because we are so stuck sometimes on what people think about us and what people think that's best for us. You have to know who you are so that you can be true to yourself. Not waiting for someone else to tell you what's best for you. You do the work on the inside. You do that self discovery so that you can find out what it is that really is best for you. She also mentioned about people think they know who you are. And that's another thing. I'm going to just settle that one by saying you have to get delivered from people and their expectations. You have to get delivered from people and their expectations. You are tossed to and fro like a ship out there on the boisterous waters that can't land. So you want to make sure that you know who you are and that you believe in yourself, and you are not swayed by the opinions of other people. And so you can love people, you can still be in relationship, you can connect, but sometimes those people that are trying to move you in a direction that is not toward your destiny, you really need to let go. She also talked about other people that are trying to tell you what you're capable of, what you're smart. I mean, what you can do in their eyes, and that's limiting big time, because even the A grade in school can't calculate my intelligence, because God has made us so profound with such wisdom and such knowledge. And when you allow other people to tell you what you're capable of, then you're minimizing who you are. You have to get to the place where you believe in your own significance. I've said that many times before, but that's really critical. When I discover who I am and then I decide to become it, then I become a force to be reckoned with, because then I have the confidence to walk and stand in my brilliance and to continue to move through life no matter what comes my way. So get delivered from people, love people, but get delivered from their expectations and what they expect you to be, do, or become. You have to know who you are and your identity and your confidence in your own significance, because God ordained it to be so. You have to be confident in that. And then, of course, those three wisdom gems. I love those three wisdom gems. And she actually talked about see yourself, and this is mindset stuff. You know, you got to shift your mindset. See yourself as the person that loves you most sees you. If you can do that, that will be a powerful thing. Can you see yourself? You know, I mean, think about the most significant person that you know in your knower that loves you, regardless of if everybody else left you, that person loves you. So, can you see yourself the way that they see you? Because a lot of times we don't see ourselves as amazing as we are, because we allow those self-limiting beliefs to come in and move in and cloud who we really are. But try to see yourself the way that the person that loves you most. As she shared that, I thought that was beautiful. She also mentioned something about, you know, if there's somebody that's challenging and they're kind of mean, nasty, see themselves, and you see them in the preferred future state of how they could be, which I thought was profound, because that totally shifts your mindset from you wasting energy, mental energy, on this person that's coming against you. So, the second thing that she talked about is when you get called into something, reach out and get some help, get some support. Like she was talking about, she had to level up and go do her doctorate. And with the little baby. And so she said that she called up, I mean, she typed a letter, sent it out to her friends, and they helped her. So her son did not go without being around an adult, a grandma or an auntie, or, you know, whatever else. He did not miss out because she was not afraid to ask for help. Ask for help for those that can support you. And you know those people that are in your corner that you can ask. There are certain people that you can't ask, especially when you're trusting them with the precious. So, the last one, prioritize the time you need to do the thing. I love how she said that, because you know, and you may not know it right now, but I'm believing that you're going to spend some quiet time, especially early on in this year, really trying to find out and discern, what do you really want? What is it that you want to contribute to humanity? What have you been called to do? You know, spend some intentional, deliberate, on purpose time trying to ask yourself those questions so that you can be all that you were destined to be. So prioritize the time. You have to take the time. It is not going to just manifest itself, because many of us are extremely busy. So you are going to have to carve out the time for yourself. You're going to have to say, you know what? I am going to spend at least 30 minutes before I go to bed. And you don't want to get to the point where you're like totally exhausted, where you can't think. Whatever that moment is for you, whether it's early in the morning. I'm an early bird, and I think it's because I was in the military and they trained us to get up early. And so when I get up early, that's my freshest state. And I can really dream and strategize during the morning hours versus at night, unless I take a nap. But the bottom line is, you're going to have to fight for your time. Fight for the carve out that time. When you put you first in your assignment, then you begin to start doing intentional, deliberate action steps so that you can manifest the dream that's in your heart. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I'm looking forward to engaging with more of you when I start really getting this out there. This is like a soft launch, just to kind of get myself accustomed to going live consistently. So thank you for watching When the Moment Chooses You, being a part of the studio audience. And thank you also for even taking time listening to this. I know that 2024 is going to be a year like no other. So go ahead and apply yourself, and find out those wonderful things that you know that you've been created to do. I'll see you next time on In the Moment Live with Coach Charlene.